Alright, it is Friday, March 8th, and it is time for another limited time series, this time featuring BMW M6 GT3. And as far as I understand it, the PR requirements are the same as Acura, and actually all four IMSA GTD cars are gonna all cost the same. PR requirements are going to be the same. Their PR ratings are the same, or PR range, I should say, are the same. So, and all the rewards are going to be the same, except, different cars, obviously. So, I'm expecting this is going to be kind of the same scenario as the last one, Acura. But, let's, jump in and confirm, shall we? So, what does it say? Over half a ton lighter than the M6 Coupe. This reimagining of the M6 is ready to speed past the competition. Alright, we'll see about that. This is the gripper out of the group, of course. Let's see. The Huracán, if I remember, was the fastest, right? The highest top speed, but it does kind of lacks in grip side of things, so a little out of control, perhaps. But anyway, so price breakdown, more or less the same as the Acura. So if you're still on the bench, on the sideline about which one to get, at least for the next few days, you can test drive both cars in the exhibition series. I'm expecting this car now that it's available. It should be available also in exhibition series, but we'll check that at the end. But for now, let's use the gold and complete the series right away, and then we'll confirm the PR requirement and whatnot. Alright, it's a lot of yellow and blue for the Beamer. So, alright, let's jump to the last tier here. Last race here is going to be at Porsche Test Track, a long on-road circuit, 3 laps, so it's not going to be as long. Alright, and the PR requirement is 79.5. Yes, it is. So it should cost exactly same as Honda or Acura. Sorry, I'm so used to saying Honda NSX. Although in North America, I think it's always been Acura NSX. But anyway, semantics. Let's see if the cost of all the upgrade elements are exactly the same. So, alright, so 130,700 racing dollars was the first engine upgrade for Acura. And it is for the Beamer here as well. Alright. And so of course the base PR is the same, and I'm expecting that after first tier of upgrades are done, where did we end up? We ended up at like 69.9 or something like that, right, for Acura. So let's see if this ends up being the same. And the costs so far, I'm looking at the list of upgrade cost for Acura next to me here, and they are so far drivetrain same cost, 121.6k racing dollars. So let's see. Yeah, we'll use gold for now. And then body, see, it should cost 96,600. And it does. So far looking identical, and I don't see any deviation happening for any reason here. And suspension, 111,500. And there it is, just like that. And the exhaust should be 110,200, and there you go. And the brakes, 85,200. There we go. So far it is looking identical. And the PR boost up to 69.9 with 102,300 racing dollar upgrade. There we go. So it is looking more or less the same. And then that means gold cost for this car is also going to be 428 gold, of course. If you didn't catch my first video for Acura Championship overview, then if you're just jumping in here for the Beamer, well, I'll tell you one more time. It will cost you 428 gold. And so let's find out. Or let's add them up, right? So 75. And then the drivetrain gets us to another 70 gold. Right? And then the body's gonna cost 55 gold. So not exactly a cheap car. And then, yes, 65 for suspension. And the exhaust was 60. So there it is. And the brakes were 48. So, yep. Going to cost exactly the same one. 55 gold for tires and wheels. And the PR is up to 74.7. That's also identical. So the next roundup upgrades, the third round, right, third tier cash upgrades should get us exactly to 79.5 target. 21 upgrades out of 28 available. So same 1 day R&D time for the third tier racing dollar upgrade here, and 294,100. So that's the same. And same for the drivetrain, 273,600. And the body, yep, 217,400. So yeah, so relatively now, I mean, it's, guess they make it more predictable, doesn't it? So, you know, they can break away from these all gold only cars. Back in the day, you know, the first year they did the LMP1 event, right? With the introduction of the, what is it, Endurance Kings series and all that stuff. Out of all the Le Mans cars, Audi, of course, was racing dollar. It still is, if you don't own it yet. To upgrade it, of course, it will cost you a lot of gold. But to purchase the car, it was a racing dollar car. Yes, it was expensive for if you were not playing as much. I wasn't playing nearly as much back then. So, you know, racing dollars, it was, let's say it wasn't easy to get that much racing dollar back in those days. But nowadays, of course, I have like access here, so not an issue here. But we can use more racing dollar cars. This is kind of silly to have all these cars in gold. I mean, what's the point of having racing dollars? You know what I mean? At least I feel like that becomes kind of a moot point. But maybe it's just something to keep players engaged in the early stages of the game, since it is something that's relatively easily winnable without getting too frustrated. But anyway, let's keep going here. So 250,800 racing dollars for that suspension upgrade, and exhaust should cost 248,000 even. There we go. And the brakes are going to be 191,800. And finally, tires and wheels, 230,100, and brings our PR exactly to 79.5. So 21 upgrades total. costing you 428 gold and 2,463,900 racing dollars. I know that sounds like a lot, but anybody who's been at it for a while all know racing dollars are pretty easy to accumulate. So, in fact, some players that's been playing for a while cannot get rid of them fast enough. Because there really isn't anything at some point that costs you racing dollars. It all starts to cost gold, which is what a lot of players struggle with, right? So, anywho, let's run through, check out the series itself, and kind of have a quick preview here. So Tier 1, hopefully we don't have, I think they messed up with the Acura Championship because they had to release a small patch to adjust the PR requirement for early stages, early tiers, because they had a Tier 2 requiring gold upgrades right away, which was a bit absurd, but I think that was a mistake because they corrected it. So hopefully it's been corrected in the M6 GT3 Championship here as well. Alright, so starting out with Tier 1, we got Autocross Speed Record and Cup. Cup, of course, Nürburgring here. Single Lapper Grand Prix. Alright. And Tier 2, alright, Moment of Truth, right? Let's find out what the PR for this Cup race. Didn't we have second tier Cup at Mount Panorama for Acura as well? Alright, the PR requirement 67.9, so that is more in line with the let's say normal increment of PR requirement, not like 70 something. And we got endurance. We'll see how endurance distance adjusts, right? Because early on I felt like the bots weren't really adjusting, at least not as much, but towards the end of the Acura series I feel like they did adjust. They got much slower and became kind of went back to the old-fashioned bots, right? So anyway, but some speed events still required me to service the car, some speed snaps and some speed records, which is kind of expected. So that's nothing new. And with a BMW here, the Beamer being not exactly the speedster, I am a little concerned that it might require me to service it even more. But we shall see. Alright, so moving on to Tier 3, we got Speed Snap. So yeah, if you're only running with the racing dollar upgrades just because they take so long to get them in, actually, by the time you get to Tier 3, you probably should have at least some of the racing dollar upgrades done, the Tier 1, because I don't think you can get past the Tier 2 without with stock, right? So, and since most of you guys get upgrades all at the same time, each tier, as long as you can afford it, by the time you get to Tier 3, you should have the first round of cash upgrades done, right? For the most part, unless you're watching a lot of ads and then you ran out of ads, then there's not much you can do. Then perhaps you end up with the partial upgrades done and come to Tier 3 and try to push your way through. That's a possibility. Anyway, we got Speed Snap here, so that might, the point being, the Speed Snap at the Brickyard might require service, fairly early service, depending on your upgrade, right? Because I have a feeling if you got enough upgrades, like all the gold upgrades done by this point, then Tier 3 should not, give you much trouble, but we'll see. Anyway, then we got Elimination at Le Mans. It's an elimination, so it doesn't really matter where it is. And then the Cup at Melbourne, it's going to be 2 laps, so that should be relatively quick. Tier 4, Drag Race. That's another one that might possibly force us to service. And then there's a speed record at Hong Kong that I feel like you should be able to do even when the car's in red. We'll see. It all depends on the target, right? And the cup is going to be at Daytona. This is tier 4, right? So this is the one that's going to get you the 25% completion. And let's check out the PR requirement, 70.2. So it's just slightly north of 69.9, which is the limit of your racing dollar upgrades. So as always, just like the others, you have to put more gold in. So in it to win it, yes. Alright, so tier 5, we got head-to-head at Porsche Test Track. Short road circuit, should be a single lapper. And endurance at Spa. And cup to get through tier 5 is at Hockenheim GP. 2 laps with a PR requirement of 71.1. So that would be more of, that's more of a normal increment of PR from one tier to the next, right? About like 0.9 PR boost from tier to tier, right? So tier 6, we got Elimination at Mazda Raceway, Autocross at Brands Hatch, and the cup is at Monza Road Course. 2 laps with a PR requirement of 72 even. Alright, and the tier 7, we got Speed Snap at Red Bull Ring National Circuit. So that one I don't think would require you to service the car. Hunter, usually pretty easy. Cup at Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix Circuit, 2 laps, yes. And then, of course, you got to get through tier 7 here with a PR 72.9 required to claim your 50% completion, because you need 2 gold trophies in tier 8. So I can already see speed record at Daytona is going to require service. And head-to-head and cup race, of course, should be fairly straightforward. They should be able, that should be doable even with the car in red. Head-to-head should be a single lapper, yep. And the Le Mans race in limited time series are mostly single lapper. I don't expect it to be any different here. And 73.7 is the PR requirement. Alright, moving on to tier 9. Another drag race and another endurance. And the cup at Suzuka GP, 2 laps, and the PR requirement of 74.5. Alright, so we got 6 more tiers to go here, and we're at, what was the PR? 74, right? 74 and change, so yeah, 74.5. So if you're increasing PR requirement by like 0.9 each tier, yeah, you see how this goes, right? So fairly even increase, increment, I should say. Anyway, tier 10, Hunter at Dynamic Circuit of Porsche Test Track, Elimination at Red Bull Ring National Circuit, and the cup at Silverstone Bridge Grand Prix Circuit, 2 laps with a PR requirement of 75.3. Alright, and tier 11, Speed Snap at Monza Junior Course. Junior Course is actually quite doable for that Speed Snap. Autocross at Mount Panorama is always fun. A nice hill climb. I enjoy that very much. Does take about a minute. This car I expect to take less than a minute. Obviously, it's a pretty good PR rating for these cars. But the target I'm anticipating is going to be about a minute if I keep my bots trained throughout. And the cup at Dubai Grand Prix Circuit, 2 laps, and the PR requirement is going to be 76.1. And the tier 12, this is where you get to claim 75% completion reward. So I think by completing one or winning a gold trophy here, you should be claiming by the time you get here with a 75% completion. Of course, the gold that you have won through this series is 60, right? And then the remaining 25 last 25% will get you the 40 remaining gold of the 100 available in this series. So, speed record to start off Tier 12 at Catalunya Club Circuit. That's a short one. I don't expect that to be an issue. Head-to-head at Melbourne should be a, once again, single lapper. The Cup at Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. Okay, this is going to be a, like what, 4 laps maybe? Oh, 6 laps. Okay, so yeah, that's a short track. So, and the PR requirement is going to be 76.9. All right. And then Tier 13, we got Hunter at New York. Endurance at Nürburgring Sprint Circuit. And the Cup is going to be at Mazda Raceway. 4 laps. All right, so lap count going up. And I know this is not exactly the biggest track, but 4 laps, I feel like it's going to be longer than 2 laps at most Grand Prix circuits that we race in this limited time series. With the PR requirement 77.7, so that I think the PR requirement increments are the same as well as the Acura limited time series. All right, the Penn Ultimate Tier 14 with Autocross at Spa, Speed Snap at Dubai National Circuit, and the Cup is going to be at Red Bull Ring Grand Prix Circuit, 3 laps. Of course, Red Bull Ring, slightly smaller circuit, so that's understandable. PR requirement of 78.6. And then, of course, last year, it's 3-lapper Cup race at Porsche Test Track, long road circuit. I know it says long road circuit or on-road circuit, but it really isn't that long. So when they say it's 3 laps, that's actually not that bad. All right, so, but we're going to have, in this final tier, we're going to have a speed record at Mount Panorama. So the chances are I'll probably have to service the car for that one. Whether I finish the other 2 prior to, well, we'll see how it goes. I might have to do that. Or if I end up having to service the car for Speed Snap at Dubai for some reason, which is certainly a possibility, then, obviously I'll be able to run through Tier 15 without having to service the car in good condition, right? So, yeah, so there you go. Series rundown real quick here. And here, while we have this, let's go check in the Motorsports IMSA GTD series. And, we still only have 1 car available for the exhibition. What's with that? We only get 1 car on loan? Oh, come on. That is... Can you say lame? I mean, unless they... Like, we have to win the car. But regardless, that is... I was really looking forward to having the M6 available in exhibition series, but it seems like that is not meant to be. And Fire Monkeys, you still have chance to fix this. Come on, include all 4 GTD cars in the exhibition series. What's the point of having an exhibition series if you can only drive 1 car? Right? I'm not alone in this, am I? Anyway, that's my little rant. Yeah, so M6 GT3 Championship. Let's do it. Alright, we'll see you in the next video with the Tier 1 and upgrades and all of that fun stuff. Alright, take care, guys.